Our next presentation today is with FYI Resources Limited with Managing Director Rolly Hill. Sir, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Keith, and welcome everybody. As introduced, my name is Roland Hill and I'm the Managing Director of FYI Resources. We're an Australian listed company that has the objective of becoming a material player in the production of HPA. Now, HPA is probably not known to many of you. It's a bit of an overlooked product, but it's becoming more and more relevant in today's market for a couple of reasons. And this presentation sets out what we're attempting to do and what our objectives are in going forward. So if I can just skip forward a little bit on through the slide, and we have that obligatory governance and disclaimers, and pushing forward onto the slide itself. I might just point out that we're listed on the ASX stock exchange, but shortly to be listed on the OTC as well. But all this information will be on our website, so I'm more than happy for you to visit that. And also, I'm also welcome any comments or questions that there might be through our information page. So, in a nutshell, FYI Resources is developing a high purity alumina project here in Perth, Western Australia, where I am based. It's a fully integrated and wholly owned project, and a pretty exciting one. We've spent the last 3-4 years on development in terms of defining and refining a product that we see as not only as high margin, but it's in demand. So our strategy is built on some pretty core principles that are outlined in this slide. I won't go into all of them. However, I must just point out that based on the product that we're trying to achieve, which is purity above 99.99%, our whole strategy is around the commitment to excellence and the basis of some very core principles. And that is making sure that we make a world's premium product for certain markets, which I'll go into in a minute. So the whole process, if I can just point out right from the start, what we're hoping to achieve is replicate production of high purity alumina that's currently made through the sourcing of bauxite, as per my slide here. And if I can just point out, there's a traditional method where bauxite is mined that goes through a couple of very CapEx and OpEx intensive phases, becomes a metal here at the intermediate phase, and then at the top it becomes a third phase where they get the aluminium metal and hydrolyze it. They essentially throw acid at this whole process to make the high purity alumina, the 4 nines. The issue with this process is that it's long duration, high CapEx, high OpEx, and at the end of the day, the product is uncertain, it's unknown, there's no traceability to it, it can be blended, and so for a customer perspective, they don't know what they're getting, the grade can be variable, and that may interrupt their refining and manufacturing process for their applications. What we're hoping to do, is the discussion underneath the cartoon that outlines our process, where we're going to source the feedstock from our own mine site, our wholly owned mine site. It's alumina-rich clay called kaolin, and in 2 phases, we're essentially going to mine, beneficiate, and refine this to make a high purity, high product that's fully integrated, so it's traceable, and the customer can have a lot of confidence about that. And to do that, we'll do that at a fraction of the cost of the traditional product, but also have high ESG, so high environmental, social and governance issues around our product, which is a huge advantage in the marketing of this product. So I'll go back and start from the top, really, essentially. We have our own feedstock site, which is based here in Perth. It's only about 2 hours drive from where we're planning to have the refinery here in Perth, so 2 hours drive. We'll mine our own high-grade, quite unique feedstock. We'll beneficiate that on site. That whole site is actually permitted and all ready to go, so no problems there. We'll produce a product that is high alumina, and we'll transport that down to Perth, where we had to have our refinery in a place called Kwinana. So through the last couple of years, we've been going through quite an intensive development process in unlocking the key, essentially, to the refining and making of this product. As you can imagine, 4 nines, 99.99%. It's a high hurdle to produce, to get to, very difficult. There are a lot of technical glitches in trying to get to this product, but we've managed to crack the code and in fact can get to close to 5 nines, and we'll see that there's been a big part of our growth as well, so 4 nines and 5 nines. But we've gone through a very intensive and very technical development phase and managed to produce an ideal product that is very, very accepted on the marketplace from high-end customers, both end users and traders. So from that product, we'll set up a refinery in Perth, in Western Australia, a place called Kwinana. Kwinana is a huge advantage to us. It's an area just south of Perth in Western Australia that's been designated to be a battery development area, a special area by the WA state government. We have a plot there that's designated for our production and placement of our refinery. And from there, we'll export around the world. We'll produce around about 8,000 tonnes to 10,000 tonnes per annum and export that to these markets globally. So a little bit about the market itself. As I said, most people are probably not that aware about HPA in itself, but certainly it's a product that's come to more relevance in recent times. It has 2 product splits, essentially. What we'd like to call is a traditional product split, and that goes into, as per outlined on the slide just below there, it goes into LEDs and phosphor glasses. You might see it on your watch face, TV screens, tablets, smartphones, the LED lights and all that. It does have some specialty components, and it's particularly interesting in terms of growth, where with the 4.9 available, a lot of R&D and development is going into that. So we can see that there's going to be a lot of growth in the LED market, but I suppose the more important thing and the more exciting development is with its use in batteries and battery technologies. The current use, bigger use, is for coating of the separator between the anode and cathode, and you hear a lot of talk about those 2 elements, anode and cathode, but there's the separator being the 3rd component of the battery, which plays a very important role. And up to about 11% of a battery can be utilised by HPA. So it's not a small element, it is a big component of a battery and a very important one. And we see that growth is only going to continue as depicted in this slide just coming. So the market itself historically was quite small and probably didn't deserve or require the development for refiners and developers such as ourselves. But with the market growth expected around about 17% to 22%, depending on what application, there is a huge demand that's growing, and it currently can't be met by the traditional production through bauxite, and certainly there's ESG overlay on and surrounding the development of that. So it provides us a huge opening, a huge gap for us to come into the market and innovate this whole industry. So with the advent of the growth and a potential deficit within the market appearing around about 2023-24, we see that perfect timing for us as well. So where are we going to sell this product? I suppose, well, it's a global product. That's the key. Current dominance is through China and Southeast Asia. China, I think, will become less of a player within this as quality and purity issues emerge, and the desire by manufacturers and developers to have a higher quality product. It's definitely something that is driving this market, and we aim to meet that through the development of this fantastic high purity product. So we will end up focusing on Southeast Asia, but probably excluding China to a degree. So we'll be looking at Japan, Korea, Taiwan. Then we'll be looking into North America and into Europe as these growing markets for high quality, high purity applications are appearing and emerging, particularly on the EV sector. So as a result of all of that work, why really are we doing it? Well, the fact is that it's economic. Not only is it a tier one application product, the purity speaks for itself, but the economics of the project does as well. So we represent a fantastic opportunity as a displacement for the quality of the product, but the financials make it so much better. As was suggested previously, we can manufacture this process so quickly, so easily, at a fraction of the CapEx and the OpEx. And as a result, it throws out some fantastic economic metrics. It's a long mine life, high RRR, 55% odd, a high NPV, and this is something that we're very proud about in terms of our company at our size, that we can represent a project of such quality that generates such value for shareholders through those NPVs. And over time, we'll certainly get towards meeting that kind of value. But quick payback, all the other metrics that are desirable for funding, etc., are all there, and we're well and truly down the path of not only meeting financial targets and talking to financiers about this project, we've also managed to secure the interest of ALCOA. ALCOA were very interested in our project, and just quite recently, September last year, we signed an MOU with them where they're very interested in participating with FYI Resources in developing this unique product. The merits for them, I suppose, are getting into a development phase at an early stage and building out a strategy to address the shortfall in the market, and also because of the economic value of it. So ALCOA is now partnering us. We're developing from an MOU into a joint venture. We're going through that slowly, and things are going quite nicely in the context of the agreement. It's going to be quite involved, but very exciting for us, and we welcome ALCOA's involvement there. So more on that later as the MOU evolves. In terms of projects and really what we have achieved over the last little while, it's been a very busy last 12 months. We see, in fact, that we're going to have a very busy next 12 months. So just a couple of highlights of there that I welcome you to take the time to look at on the website. Not necessarily go through them all now, but obviously our intentions with this company is to build it from a small developer into a world-class material HPA producer. So along the lines, what we'll end up doing is developing this with hand in glove with ALCOA, and it's one of those things that will look like emerging as being quite a credible business, underpinned particularly through the sustainability of our project. This is one clear advantage that we see. The advantage over the current supply is immense in terms of footprint, environmental impact, greenhouse gas emissions, etc. So we're very proud of this fact. It was something that we were very interested in pursuing, and we're shortly to be rated in terms of ESG. So it's an advent that we're very keen on. In terms of our workload going forward, again, as I mentioned, we had a very busy last 6 months, 12 months. We're looking forward to a very busy 6 to 12 months going forward in our development. There's a number of key KPIs that we're about to achieve, including progressing with ALCOA. But even so, in terms of the corporate development and product development and the project development, we have our financing coming up, final engineering. We're looking forward to around about 12 months' time commencing our construction, fabrication, probably even earlier than that, I should say. And it's something that we're looking forward to getting into production around about towards the end of 2023. So in summary, I think we're very proud about our development over the last 12 months. We've hit some amazing KPIs in context of the company and the development stage that we have, but we're very proud of our technical excellence and the achievements and technical achievements that we've made, and we're looking forward to listing on the OTC very shortly and continuing with our development. So I appreciate your time and thank you for that, and look forward to any questions that might appear through the various channels and seeing what the response in listing in OTC would be. So thank you very much for your time. I look forward to being a shareholder. Cheers.